Okay, on to the next Skip the Line reaction. We've got another Alter Bridge. Man, there's plenty coming, man. So I hope you guys don't get tired of this but let's just listen to it because this band is absolutely immaculately brilliant, right? We've done 2 so far. We're doing the 3rd for now. And then we've got I think 5 others coming. This is a Skip the Line request also from Sammy. He's the one who's requested them all. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. There's also a message. This song is just so powerful with a real moody vibe and such a meaningful lyrics. Also interesting because of the chorus melody is based on the famous classical piece Bouree in E minor by Bach. I must be honest, I'm not too affair with that, but let's rock and roll, man. Let's see what we've got over here. Wayward One by Alter Bridge. Let's see what we got. Those hi-hats.
And they cry, and they call, as the wayward walk alone. City lights, urban sprawl, in a place no one should know. Show no grace, show no love. These mean streets are meant for none. Take them back to the start. Let the purest of heart.
Oh God. God, it's just, they are so good though. They're so good. Okay, so you can see that this is the whole premise of this song straight off the bat. This is at least what I'm interpreting so far. Is again, it's a lost soul, right? It's a lost soul walking alone in the streets, like especially where it says like a place that no one should know, right? These are dark places that don't have a home to go to, walking kind of like confused, alone. Down, depressed, out, it's you can see right off the bat it's a very, very, very powerful song because it actually applies to a hell of a lot of people. A lot of people that, and I like the thing like, let us take it back to the start. Let us take you back to the beginning, back to when you were born with your parents. And when you think about like sort of like a wayward person, essentially, so it's kind of like saying like it's an unpredictable person, just based on like bad judgments, essentially, right? He's lost his way. He's kind of gone off the tracks, and he's now trudging the unknown. Essentially, he's gone wayward, right? So someone who's lost, someone who's who you kind of feel like had good prospects, but somehow fell off the wagon and is now lost in a place that is just depressing and dark and with no hope, essentially. I like that. So that over there, like we neglect and we fight to we resist, right? While they fight to exist, we neglect them and we resist them, and that could come from actions that he's taken that's kind of pushed people away. So like you sort of neglect those people and you resist those people. But all people have gone through hardships. All people have gone, they make mistakes and they go through bad times, essentially. And it's almost like saying, instead of just saying, okay, well, he caused this for himself, he needs to go his own way, right? It's kind of to sort of lend a helping hand. And sometimes, I must be honest, to some people, there's, some people, unless they lend a helping hand to themselves and, they can see their own misgivings and their own misfortunes were created by them, some people are in like utter denial. Like some people will try to bring them back and say, listen, what you're doing is wrong, specifically when it comes to addiction and things like that. And they literally just, they can't help it. And then they, and that's where people sort of like, okay, well, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? It's his life. He's going to have to learn the hard way. And at times, that is what needs to happen to people. They need to see rock bottom before they actually see, the tunnel's always open. You know what I mean? You can dig and 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 dig yourself down all the way down to the bottom, but that tunnel's always open and you can always climb out of it, but that is up to you, right? It's not really up to other people. Other people can't help you unless you want them to, right? And by them helping you, you need to be willing to help yourself, or else it doesn't matter what other people do. It's not going to help you, right?
Broken homes, broken lives.
I had a sense of the broken homes and like broken homes, broken lives, because that's where you'd actually think when someone goes wayward. It's purely because of that. It's because there's instability in the home. It's abusive homes. It's, they can't live there anymore and they land up on the streets because, it's either they get fostered and they go, from that to an even worse family or not to any family at all. And they don't really feel like there's a place. They don't feel like there is sort of like a pinnacle point for them that they can launch from, because there was no real stability in the thing. So I had the sense of it from the beginning when it came to that.
Broken lives, they repeat themselves in time.
100%.
It's passed on down the line till we hear bones inside.
100%. Somebody's got to actually, someone's in that lineage has got to break that cycle, right? So yes, it'll go from a broken home, and because all you know is a broken home, that you'll eventually create a broken home for the next person that comes, the next lineage that comes will be a broken home as well, because that's all you've been exposed to, that's all you know, that's what your existence is based on, because you haven't seen anything outside of that. It takes people with an incredible amount of strength, an incredible amount of introspection within themselves, an incredible amount of awareness to actually realize that they can break that cycle, and it's completely and utterly up to them to break that cycle. So if you come from that, do you want to expose that to the next generation? That's within your grasp. That's within your control. You've got to break the cycle, right? And it's a very hard thing to do when you come from those type of environments where you haven't seen anything else. Like no one's shown you, the other side of this. Essentially, it takes a lot of reckoning and a lot of a lot of journey and a lot of looking at yourself and trying to see what else is out there. And in the majority of cases, people struggle to do that, man. People just carry on with what they know, and it almost becomes like motoric. It becomes almost like an automated involuntary action that you can't control, right? Although it should be controlled, but some people aren't strong enough to control it, and some people aren't strong enough to say, okay, wait, listen, let me try and forge a different path, right? Let's take this whole lineage and sort of switch it across to a different road so that we can start a new way. Because if you actually think of a wheel's continuously turning and turning and turning, and it's leaving a track behind it. That track is important because you got to look back and see where you come from at the end of the day. But sometimes in these kind of cases, that wheel needs to be taken off that track, right? And it needs to be put in something brand new, right? So that it can forge a new track, right? With new objectives, with new realities and ambitions and things like that. And that's hard. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to do because you have to leave a lot behind, and entangled in all of that you leave behind were things that you will hold dear to yourself. But sometimes those things that hold dear to yourself is what actually lands up destroying your future. So it's a very difficult psychological thing to deal with. But again, that's why I always say, agency over your own life. Always agency over your own life. No one's going to come in to fix it. Not the government, not your friends, not anybody. You have to have the agency over your own life. You need to look at yourself. If you look at yourself and you tell yourself, every single thing that's happened in my life is my fault. Even if it was done to you, every single thing has happened in my life is my fault. I will take accountability for it, right? And I'm going to fix it moving forward. That's the way you get out of it, right? Because if you play the blame game, geez, we can get stuck in that blame game forever, man. God knows I was stuck in that blame game for a very long time until I eventually, it's like a light switch. Just wait a second. It's everybody else's fault. You got no control. Seriously, you got no control. You've got nothing, right? This connection between your brain, your hands, and your feet. You just keep doing the same shit. You can't control that. Seriously, is that the sum total of your existence? That's what you're gonna be. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's not easy, I'll tell you that.
It's not too late to make things right. Yes. Dress the wounds with love, your light. Take them back to the start. Let the purest of heart know the world is still spoken. As we fight to exist, we neglect and resist. Let the cycle be broken.
Now that I'm actually thinking of it, when they say take them back to the purest of heart where their name is still spoken, it's almost like he's also trying to allude to the fact that, okay, it's a kid that's gone wayward, right? But there are still people which are kind of in your family lineage, quite possibly referring to parents, I'm not entirely sure, that still, because you're their kid, they'll always love their kid, right? Not in all cases, but in most cases, right? You'll always have that as a parent. You'll always have, regardless of how bad things go for your child, all right, and how wayward they go, even though you feel like you can't control it, right? You still speak of your child highly. It's my child. It comes from me. It's my blood at the end of the day, and you should always speak highly. Keep your dirty laundry at home. Always speak highly of your children. Don't ever sully them to other people, to strangers and things like that, because then you kind of see why your child is in this position, if that's what you're doing. You should always hold your child closest to your heart, so that taking back to that thing, take them back to the loving embrace and the loving care of a family, essentially. I don't know, maybe, possibly, that might be neither here nor there, but just a thought. This is where he was alluding to the parents here. Can we try to bring the wayward ones back home tonight? See, okay, this is where he actually says, so it is actually about parents to a certain degree. It's like someone who was in a good family, lost his way, went out and left home and things like that, and his life is just completely falling away. And it's like, bring them back home, right? Because that is their pinnacle point. That is where they can ground themselves and then sort of kick off from there again. They need that base, they need that home base to sort of reset. I like that. Bring away what wants back home tonight. Take them back to the start. Let the purest of heart know that word is to spoken. As they fight to exist, we neglect and resist. Let the cycle be broken. electric guitar, they just know where to put it. Their songs are beautiful. Beautiful. The one thing I have noticed with the Alter Bridge is they like to put that electric guitar, they like to emphasize the track right at the end. They try to like sort of liven it up. Not that it's not lively already, but they really do like to amplify it at the end with that electric guitar. It's 3 songs now that I've actually heard that they literally put in that electric guitar right at the end over there to sort of amplify the track more, right? To give it, to breathe more life into it, essentially. They really are good, man. They really are fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful track. I'm not entirely sure if my analysis was all there. It might have been very unpackaged, as most of my analysis are, to be fair. But yeah, man, that was absolutely beautiful. Loved this. All 3 have absolutely been spectacular. If I had to pick between the 3 so far, I can't pick between the 3 so far. This is so good, though. Fallout was great. Oh God, I can't pick. No, but now I've done this, so I've got to pick. Fallout. I'm gonna go Fallout. For now. We've still got more coming. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.